leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when it's relentless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Film Optix review brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Desmond. How are you doing today?
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's.
It's a very forgotten holiday,
Dude.
at least in my home.
Yeah, being a black man.
Yeah, there's not much.
Not much.
Definitely a excuse for white people to get drunk. That's all it is, really.
Oh, make no mistake about it, Devin. I still use it as an excuse to, party hard with the Irish out there, all my Ireland brothers. But yeah, I kind of celebrated last week anyway, so it was like, it's a Wednesday. It's just a little muggy, and it's rainy outside. So
it's a Wednesday.
Yeah. We're almost there, Devin. Almost to the weekend. Fret not. Almost there. It's okay. But today we're going to be reviewing the latest MCU miniseries, I should say. I think it's a miniseries because there's only 6 episodes. That is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1. We would like to thank Disney for allowing us to review this episode early for you guys. This will be dropping a day before the general public will be able to view Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. I gotta say,
we're going completely spoiler free.
Yes, completely spoiler free. So no fret here. You can stay, hang out, listen to our first initial thoughts. I gotta say though, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a bit of a mouthful, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I think it would have been easier just to drop the. It's cleaner. Falcon. At least the first the. This type as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
yeah, we knew these titles were strange coming in. WandaVision.
Yeah,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
But like WandaVision kind of rolls off the tongue, like in order to like, if I'm even talking about it on Twitter, like I have to like abbreviate it or just call it Falcon because
it's also like Fat WS is like the acronym. Fat World Series.
Fat World Series. Yeah, it's some really weird stuff, man. It is what it is. WandaVision, you got the W and V, or I just say WandaVision because that's cool. But yeah, it's really gonna throw people up. At least we got Loki coming up. That's simple.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. I mean, so was WandaVision, but Loki's a little bit more simplistic. But before we begin today's review, you can listen to this podcast on platforms around the internet and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X for all of our latest announcements. And if you're big into reading, check out the Music City Drive-In website. We have a lot of written reviews. I do a lot of written reviews on there as well. And there's a lot of other podcasts you can listen to as well, between sports, music, Oscar race, talk nominees, all that jazz. We got some commentary stuff over there as well. So Music City Drive-In. Go ahead and check it out. We just dropped our non-spoiler Zack Snyder Justice League reviews, as well as a few others that just went up. Because I believe South by Southwest, the film festival, has officially begun. I believe this is either day 2 or day 3. I think it's day 2 as of this recording. But yeah, go ahead and check out MusicCityDrivein.com. If you're not, what are you doing with your life? Go check out MusicCityDrivein.com.
Yeah.
So let me read the synopsis here of episode 1 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Do we have a episode title yet, Devin?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, because I swear I thought they were going to sneak us in there, like at least, for the screeners. I was like, ooh. But then I remembered for WandaVision, it just says episode 1, 2, and 3 for the screeners that I got. But I'm sure by the time this comes out, we will have a episode name. Someone had said that it was so long Cap or something. I really don't know. Or you'll be missed Cap, or I really don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see. So the synopsis reads for just the entirety of the show. Following the events of Avengers Endgame, Sam Wilson slash aka the Falcon and Bucky Barnes, also known as the Winter Soldier, team up in a global adventure that tests their abilities and their patience. And of course, this stars Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, Desmond Chiam, amongst many others. So this is going to be a 6-episode series altogether. And I believe this actually follows up through WandaVision, because WandaVision was a few weeks after the events of Endgame. And this is 6 months after the events of Endgame, which I'm liking. You know, they're finally able to start more with continuity instead of like I saw some people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I wish we got Falcon and Winter Soldier first," and I was like, "Why?" It literally doesn't make any sense. Like continuity and story wise, it probably doesn't make sense. Like we've known, you know, Marvel has this stuff planned out for like the next 5 to 10 years. So we just have to trust them, and you know, hope to Betsy that they don't mess it up. I don't think they will, but. So yeah, this does take place 6 months after.
It's nice to have a timeline starting to get laid out after Endgame.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Because I mean, during the beginning, obviously, the first thing we had was Iron Man, and then it's not like everything just started off with like, oh, Captain America, the first Avenger, because we got Iron Man, and then the Hulk, and then I think Captain America, First Avenger. And then Thor was in there as well, but it's kind of like, you know, they were kind of just all over the place. And obviously Captain America First Avenger was like the first. And then it would be continuity wise Captain America and then Captain Marvel and then like everything else. But yeah, it is nice to have a nice timeline after the blip or the vanished has happened. But Devin, let's just start talking about this. This comes out on Friday, March 19th. What were your first initial thoughts about this new Disney Plus miniseries?
It does a great job from the very start, just putting an action scene in your face, like a really cool action scene too. It's just kind of setting the tone for what this show is going to be. More of a traditional MCU type property. Obviously, WandaVision was a bit different from what we're used to.
Yeah.
Which is good. But yeah, there's a great action scene to start off the show with Falcon. And it kind of, from there, just becomes more of a broadening of the Falcon and Winter Soldier characters. Like, we get more depth in this one episode than we got in like all their other movies combined. That's just what's so good about these shows, is that there's so much time to flesh out these characters. Like, we didn't really have any backstory on Sam before this show. Like, we just knew he kind of met Captain America and they were just friends.
Yeah.
But this, like the first episode, we see more about his family, his background, all of it. Same with Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. This episode is more of, you know, laying the groundwork. We've gotten so much backstory with this entire episode, especially with Sam Wilson. I mean, we know who Bucky is, you know, the best friend of Captain America, you know, back in the day. Becomes the Winter Soldier, gets brainwashed by Hydra and all of that conspiracy theory stuff. But I do agree. It is nice to see where these characters actually come from. It's just like, oh, like, hey, like, I'm Sam. It's like, Sam who? Oh, I'm just Sam Wilson. It's like, where'd you come from, Sam? It's like, you know, just around the block, you know, doing chiz and whatnot, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm really glad that we saw these characters more in a vulnerable state than, you know, always doing the hero work and whatnot. Especially, I don't know, between, I mean, they're both.
Bucky's getting pretty deep.
Yeah. Bucky's was getting pretty deep.
It's hitting hard.
Yeah. And that hit me so hard for a moment. I was like, oh man, it's just such a great episode. It lays the groundwork, you know, and the only thing I really hope that, you know, since this is only 6 episodes long, I really hope, you know, we start to get into the story come episode 2, because this one feels more of like, introduction to where these characters have been since the events of Endgame, what they're dealing with. And, it's called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really hate that they put the Falcon in there. It's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we want to see some Falcon and Winter Soldier kick-assery, pretty much, pardon my French, but that's just what I expect. It's kind of like Defenders with the Defenders on Netflix. It took them like 2 episodes to like get everybody to finally like meet up with each other. But then it took them like another 2 episodes to like, they were just bickering. And I really hope this doesn't happen here. I'm sure it won't, because that was like 8 episodes, and that's like half of the series right there. And then we finally got in to, everything that everyone's been looking forward to, with all these fights and just the main story. But it seems that everything is starting to hit the ground running with this film. With episode 1, excuse me.
Yeah, I agree. I think next episode we're going to start really getting into it. Definitely a nice setup episode, first one.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always just nice to see like the Marvel title card back again, because it's like Phase 4 is here, and it hasn't really like hit me. It didn't hit me with WandaVision. It's starting to kind of, like, hey, like Marvel is back, MCU is back. It's been about a year since we've had any Marvel content. And earlier today, I think you just sent me a link with if between Disney and Black Widow, it's going to be a last minute decision if it's going to be exclusive to theaters or not. And it's like, we're getting these smaller scale stories that do contribute to the bigger picture. And it just makes sense this way. I mean, I love the movies. Prior to, the series, I kind of viewed like the solo movies as like a mini series adventure. And then of course the Avengers movies being like the granddaddies of them all, where the stakes are higher, but because they're all doing their own little thing. This is what it feels like. What is everybody up to after the events of Endgame and after Tony Stark's death? Like what, where do these characters go? How do they grow from here? And, we get a lot of that. And
that's why the shows are so perfect, because we can just kind of get to know these side characters more. Like obviously in the movies are like, those are going to be the big characters, like the Avengers and all of that. But these shows, like, perfect for these side characters that don't get all the love.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a great job so far. I mean, the Marvel Netflix realm, I mean, those technically still are canon, because I mean, they reference stuff from the movies, but it's kind of like a one-way connection. But this is, back and forth, they're using the same characters, and just the weight is just there. It's great. I absolutely love it. But what do you think of the new side characters so far, the ones we've been introduced to?
I like where they're going with these new villains. Possibly, we can't dive too much into it, but I love the reasoning as to why they are doing what they're doing. Just all goes back to the snap.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I feel like this one, because I watched it last night, I was like a bit tired while watching it, but I still, I paid attention. But I usually watch things twice anyway to kind of get a grasp of it. So this one definitely warrants a rewatch, at least for me, because it's like, I mean, this is, a lot of people are excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. For the longest time, I was hoping this didn't feel like Winter Soldier 2.0. I mean, we've only seen the first episode so far. So when, the general public gets to see it, they'll make up their own forums and theories. And speaking of theories, really, really quick, I don't want any of you guys undercutting Falcon and Winter Soldier just because, like you guys did with WandaVision, because your theories didn't come true. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Everyone learned their lesson.
It's not. I mean, it's fun to theorize, and I've seen people talk about this. It is fun to theorize. That's like half of like all the fun that everyone gets together week to week, and what do you think is going to happen? Like, it stirs up conversation, but don't get like pissed when your like theory doesn't come true, because
it went both ways with WandaVision, that's for sure.
I mean,
because
yeah,
they set themselves up for failure for a few of those.
Well, I wouldn't say it was like failure, but they definitely
the astrophysicist was definitely a failure.
Oh my, I don't even care about the astrophysicist. I didn't care. I was like, are they going to introduce the X-Men? No, they didn't. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to introduce the X-Men and we're going to get Mephisto and we're also going to get Fantastic Four. It's like, did Kevin Feige not say that this story was about Wanda and Vision? We got, Monica Rambeau with her powers. I don't know what name they're going to be using. I'm thinking maybe Spectrum, something simple for everyone to kind of, grasp to, but it's like,
I'm going Photon.
Photon, I think Photon could work better.
Her mom's name, and she's gonna carry that mantle forward.
Yeah, Photon is easier for kids to remember. I think, other than Spectrum, they're gonna be like, it's like Photon, 2 syllables. There you go, easy, but. Yeah, I do agree there. I'm just saying that everyone doesn't need it. It's fun to theorize. I absolutely love it. But everyone thought that all this stuff was going to happen. I'm like, there's just no way they're going to introduce all this stuff. Kevin Feige himself even said they have not found a way to introduce the X-Men yet. We did get that one little article from, was it Illuminati? I believe it was. I don't know if I want to believe them anymore because they got shut down by James Gunn when they were like, what was it? One of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, they started looking for casting, and he was like, no. I think Adam Warlock, I think it was. They're like, no.
That's Zac Efron.
Yeah, for Zac Efron. He's like, if I wanted to cast a Zac Efron type, I would just cast Zac Efron. But I think he's alluding to the fact that he said something else. I think he was alluding to the fact that it will be a minority character, a minority member playing for casting for that. But I really don't know. But yeah,
I do think the showrunners could have taken some lessons away from WandaVision as well, because I mean that astrophysicist thing was just. It was just a fake out for the sake of being a fake out. Like, imagine in Falcon and Winter Soldier, someone's like, I know someone with claws, let me call him up. And then it's just some guy named Larry. Like, that's exactly what they did. Like, there's no reason for that.
I think there was miscommunication because the director of WandaVision was saying one thing and then the writer was saying something totally different. And then, of course, you had Tatiana Paris, you had Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen all saying something else. So it's like there's like 3 sides of this entire show. People are saying totally different things. But apparently Doctor Strange was supposed to appear in episode, like one of the, well, there was supposed to be 10 episodes of WandaVision, but they couldn't film it due to COVID, which makes sense because it's happened with a few others that we've talked about in the past. But I think for Falcon and Winter Soldier, it is only 6 episodes, so people can just chill. I mean, if we get cool stuff, that's fine. But like, it's called Falcon and Winter Soldier, not Falcon and Winter Soldier and the mutants and all this other stuff. Like, it is fun to theorize. I love hearing people's theories. I love talking about it week to week. But let's be more realistic. That's all that's,
I mean, I just have to disagree. I don't know. There's being realistic, and then there's just taking what the show is giving you. And they were giving us a lot of fake information.
I like to be realistic, and I like to just go along for the ride and like enjoy it for what it is. I mean, yeah, like everyone's going to have issues and gripes with the show. I mean, I wish WandaVision was longer. I wish we would have got a little bit more backstory of where Agatha actually came from, because it seems like she just appeared out of nowhere, and like they didn't really, fall into that. It's like, how did she get into how did she get into the Hex? How did she find out about Wanda being the Scarlet Witch and all this other stuff? So it's like, I mean, she's still there. So, but apparently it was like a rumor that like Falcon and Winter Soldier is supposed to plant seeds for like other upcoming like Marvel films or something. I'm not entirely sure. I just realized for the initial release date in the notes, I put Marth. Marth 19th for the March.
Martha. It all goes back to Martha.
Why did you say that name? It's his mother's name. As much as we rock on BVS, it's not like my least favorite, but it's kind of in the middle. But yeah, Martha 19th. Well, was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we? Because I felt like we've kind of, without giving out spoilers, it's great. Like we said, it lays down the groundwork. It's setting up for. What's to come next week. We've only gotten episode 1. They didn't give us 2 episodes this time around. So it's theorize responsibly.
Much more action packed. So if that's what you're looking for, then this is your show.
So far, it feels more like the run of the mill, like by the numbers, Marvel action, because it's I'm viewing it more as like a spy thriller. Spy thrillers aren't my favorite, but it is Marvel, and it is a superhero. So, it's a great week for nerds everywhere. Just comic book fans. People have the Falcon and Winter Soldier to look forward to this week. They have Zack Snyder's Justice League to look forward to this week. They also have to look forward to our review of the first 3 episodes of Invincible, also dropping on Friday, and they also have our spoiler review of Zack Snyder's Justice League to look forward to this week. So a lot of cape shit going on. A lot of cape shiz. Yeah. So you want to grade this really quick, just as a, give people the idea of what to expect or what you liked from this episode.
I'm just gonna go solid B+.
Okay.
Didn't blow me away, but definitely got the job done. Good way to get things started.
Yeah, I actually have to go with you there. Definitely have to go with the B+ as well. I know there was just something about magical with WandaVision. Maybe it's just it was so experimental, and I'm hoping this is too. But I feel like Loki is going to be just as experimental as WandaVision, if not more. Do we know if the budget?
You can see similarities in the way they're going to dive into these characters, similar to WandaVision, not on the same level, but you can see they're kind of, especially with Bucky, you can see they're getting deep.
Oh yeah, especially Bucky. Yeah, 100-year-old soldier. So yeah, B pluses from both of us so far. Again, we have a lot of stuff coming out this week between this review that you guys just got done listening to. We have our Invincible review that's going to be coming up on Friday, so this will be dropping Thursday. And then we'll record for our Zack Snyder Justice League spoiler review Friday, and that will be up Saturday. So we did it. The craziest week of the month is over. And then we'll have, of course, we're going to be covering Falcon and Winter Soldier here weekly, along with the news for you guys. And not Falcon and Winter Soldier, sorry. Godzilla vs. Kong comes out towards the end of the week. And Solar Opposites as well. We might be able to squeeze that one in there too. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up today. So let me close this out here. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to check out the other podcast shows over on MusicCityDriving.com and subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Go to MusicCityDriving.com.